Good evening, Draftaholics, and welcome to Draft Punks. I'm Sam.
And I'm Adrian, and welcome to the first week of Aetherdrift Draft Archetype tier list.
That's right, we've got a lot to talk about. So let's just dive straight in. For me, the story of Aetherdrift Draft is between the kind of Esper-flavored artifact decks.
Okay.
And
whoa, straight to S.
Well, let's talk about it. The kind of Esper artifact decks and the green-based, just like good value, good card
Interesting.
decks. And you've drafted a little bit of both of these. So what are your thoughts on kind of where these two sit?
Yeah, I played green-black for my first draft, and I put cards in it, and it didn't go great, and it felt a little bad. But maybe that's because I was kind of unfocused and I wasn't trying to do the graveyard thing that green-black actually wants to do. But I was not wowed by green-black, but I have been wowed by blue-white.
Yeah, okay, cool. So I guess where I'm sitting, so the main narrative of the set so far is that green is busted, green is insane, green is crazy good. And there is some truth to that, but I'm actually going to put Esper Artifacts as the best deck.
As a...
Yeah, I don't think we've got an S tier deck.
Okay.
I don't think there's any deck that is just crushing everything. I don't think we've got that kind of format, which is good. So let's talk about this for a bit. Now, I have to talk about the 17 lands data. I think my favorite comment that we've ever got on the channel was we did one of these tier lists and someone jumped in the comments and said, "Oh, you were really close. The order is actually blah." And then just like listed off the 17 lands order.
Yeah, nice.
Like, okay. Thank you for correcting me. So why is what we're putting on here not the same as 17 lands? A couple of reasons. One, the 17 lands data is really going to favor strategies that are fairly easy to get them to do the thing. And so I think the green decks in this format fall into that category. The green cards are just very powerful on their own. And so if you just kind of put Hazard of the Dunes and Autarch Mammoth and so on in your deck, you're probably going to do well because the cards are good. By comparison, the artifact decks are a little bit more fiddly. There's a few more cogs you need to turn. There's more synergies you need to put together. The deck needs to be kind of balanced in a certain way. So I guess there's a higher ceiling on those artifact decks if you can go for them. That's been my feeling so far. Obviously only early days, so it's possible that I'm wrong. But right now, I've really liked Esper in particular. And by Esper, I mean blue-black touching white for the white gold cards. The Pathmaker and Voyage Home are both incredibly powerful. So if you have a look at our latest draft video, you will see a good example of that. So number one for me will be Esper Artifacts, and then I'm going to put the good green decks in there as well. So let's pop blue green in here as well. I think green black and blue green, and it's often a Sultai base thing. Very, very powerful. And I'm going to drop blue black artifacts up in tier 1 as well. I don't know about order. Maybe it slots into here. But I think these are the 4 decks I'm like really hoping to be.
Oh, what about blue white?
Blue white. Funny you should ask. I think goes here. I like it, but the other main narrative of this format so far has been that white sucks.
Really?
Yeah, which has not been your experience?
No, I am currently in a love affair with it's the 2-drop 0/4 that crews things twice sometimes.
Yeah.
Ace thing.
Yeah. So I like blue white. I think it's kind of top of tier B. But some of its cards are not great, and some of them are a little bit unfocused. Like some of them are trying to lean into the aggressive thing. And so blue-black just always comes together because it's all just like pointing in the right direction. Whereas blue-white seems to be a little bit hit or miss. And so oftentimes I'm drafting what I think is blue-white artifacts, and then I get a Pact Terror and a Grim Bauble. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just be blue-black and splash the Voyage Home that I've got. So I've tended to find the blue-white one comes together just a little bit less often.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, because I really like Interface Ace, and I played it to amazing success in my blue-white draft because I was playing sort of a heavy vehicle deck with a few mounts sprinkled in there as well. But I guess I could see it, in recent videos where we've drafted, the blue-black deck does seem quite strong.
Yeah. Now, this is one that people might get in the comments about me about because it is the second lowest ranked archetype on 17 lands. But I think that kind of goes to what I was talking about a second ago, where if your deck is not quite focused, if you're trying to do like part white aggro and part white control and like part vehicles and part long game drawing cards with Void Tome, you're going to have a mess and it's not going to work. So you've got to know what you're building towards with blue-white. And I think there's a few different types of decks you can put in there, but I have liked it at this stage. We'll see if that stands up after another week or two. I think the best aggro deck in the format is red-green.
Okay, I can see this because we got completely rolled by a red-green deck in our latest draft video.
Yeah, and I've played this in pod draft and it felt strong as well. The boost buggy is really good. The green cards just give you good card quality up and down the curve, and then red can give you lightning strike to help keep pushing things through, and then some of the red vehicles. Sorry, I'm a little rusty on card names at the moment, but the 5-mana vehicle that you can exhaust by tapping other vehicles to turn it permanently into a thing, and then it's a 5/4
Oh,
haste.
yeah.
They just punch hard. So unlike red-white, which we'll get to later, I have liked red-green. So if you are more inclined to draft aggro, I think this is one of the ways you can punch through these like late game value decks.
Yeah, okay. Neat.
And then white-black is an interesting one. I'll admit I haven't drafted this myself yet, but some of my friends have. I've talked with them about it, and I have been beaten by the good versions of this. So these decks play well out of the graveyard, just kind of lots and lots of recursion. And then this, I think, is the start your engines deck. This is the one where you try to get it going on turn 1 or 2, and then you play a Wicker Folk and just peck in for a few turns. And then
the Wicker Folk, yes.
Yeah, and then your Risen Necro Regent is pumping out 2/2s every turn, and just all of your start your engines cards are just much, much more powerful. So this one I don't have a lot of experience with it, but just from what I've seen kind of on the outside, I do think this can be strong if you know how to do it, if you're building towards that late game.
Okay, yeah, I've not seen it do its thing against me, but I'm open to it. I like the idea of it. Black-white's got some cool cards.
Yeah. And then in tier C, I'm gonna drop blue-red discard.
My boy, you've massacred my boy.
So I really like the Grixis artifacts sort of space, but I think blue-red is the weakest of them. Now, when I've drafted blue-red, sometimes it's been just like an artifacts sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
You know, almost like you start down the blue-black road, but you get a couple of powerful red cards and you just kind of switch over to red instead. So it can often have a heavy red aspect to it. I actually drafted this deck earlier today with a reasonably heavy discard element. And do you know what the most powerful thing in the deck was?
Don't say 3 mana, look at 5, draw 2.
Well, honestly, it probably was that. It was is it called Howler Heavy? The 4-mana 3/4.
The 5 mana 4/5 with reach and discard a card?
No. The 4 mana, the 3 in a blue 3/4 that you would never hard cast that you can cycle for 2, and when you do something gets -3/-0.
Oh, that was good.
And this shouldn't be surprising because I love effects like Startle, which do exactly that, which is like, 2 mana, shrink their power, draw a card. Normally you play a card like Startle in like a spells deck where you're getting more than just that effect. You're filling up the graveyard to cast Hilarion Terror or whatever. In this deck, if you got any of the discard payoffs to go along with that, then it's 2 mana to win a combat, and potentially quite a good combat as well, right? 3 power is a lot.
That's true. That's true.
Win a combat, get some sort of other effect, whether it's +1 counters or a bit of damage, and draw a card.
Okay. You're talking me into it, because every time I've seen Howlers Heavy, I've been like, nah, this looks bad. This seal is does not quite make a deal for me.
Yeah, it was much better than I thought it would be. I kind of took it just because I wanted some discard synergies to just keep the deck going, but it was MVP. So I'm keeping my eye on this one. I think this one could end up getting there. And like my payoffs weren't amazing. I didn't have any of the rare ones. I didn't have the Marco. I just had like 3 of the Magmakin guy, and one other, but it was good. It was strong. So I've got my eye on this one. I think this could potentially go up as people kind of figure out the right way you're supposed to build it.
I was secretly hoping that you would leave that to last and go, actually, Blue-Red Discard, S tier, best deck in the format. Adrian was right all along.
Well, like, as I mentioned in our last video, some of my buddies that were prepping for the Pro Tour told me that they thought that Blue-Red was not great unless you got the nut version of it, where it was no one was going into it and you just got every payoff, at which point it was the best deck in the format.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it's I think on average it's probably going to end up around here, but I think you can get quite powerful versions of it. So yeah, all right, now let's talk about green-white. This one I'm kind of speaking probably with the least confidence on because I haven't drafted this myself. It seems to me that, again, it's one that's going to just benefit from having good green cards, but I think I'd rather pair any of the other colors with green. So it's a little bit, it's the case where you've got the best color and the worst color kind of fighting with each other. My feeling is that your average green-white deck won't be that good, but if you can get into a good version of it, it will be really strong.
Okay.
So I've definitely been dumpstered by it. Which, makes me think that, yeah, if you can figure out that it's wide open and you're getting hooked up, jump into it. I think it's totally fine. And so, yeah, this is one that's actually gone by the stats, the 4th best archetype in this set.
Oh, wow.
But again, the powerful green cards mean all of these green archetypes are going to just get bolstered because, you don't need to play perfectly. You don't need to build your deck perfectly and you can still win really nicely. So again, one to keep an eye on. This could be much better than I'm giving it credit for. I am known to disrespect green-white in general, even though it is historically the best color pair in Limited. So we'll see on that one. And then rounding out tier C, the black-red speed deck. Again, speaking with little confidence here because I haven't drafted this one myself. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Is it?
Well, I think it can go fast and it can get up to max speed really quickly. The question is, can it punch through the green cards? The black helps you a little bit. You do get access to spin out, but I'm just not convinced it's consistent or fast enough to be able to get through the big bodies that green is just going to put on the board.
I think you're right. And at least anecdotally, every time I've had a Gastel Thrill Seeker played against me, which is sort of the poster child of the black-red archetype, I've been like, oh no, it's coming down, and then it comes down, it gets you for 1, and then it never attacks.
Yeah.
Because your creatures are bigger.
That's it, right? You play your 3-mana 2/3 and then your 4-mana Hazard of the Dunes, and they just look at you and go, oh, guess I don't attack anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of with you. I like the idea of it. I've always got a soft spot for a red-black sort of go fast velocity mode, like sack and, put things on the battlefield quick and go through your deck. I don't know. It's early days, but I wouldn't be surprised if black-red just doesn't have the juice, as it were, to beat all of the value up in the blue decks can generate.
Agreed, yeah. And if I'm starting black, which does happen because black is very powerful in the format, I think if I'm starting black, I'm looking to take artifact cards and pair it with blue, or I'm looking to take green cards to get into Golgari. It would have to be a bit of a weird seat for me to end up here. Happy to hear from people who've had different experiences, but that's just kind of where I've seen it, kind of from the outside. And then rounding things out is what I think is the only deck in the format that I
feel like the bias is creeping in now.
No. This is real. Okay, so I hate red-white aggro in general, but it is legitimately terrible in this format. And just to be clear, the stats agree with me on this as well. And that's really significant because in week 1 to 2, it's normally these aggro decks that perform the best.
Oh, that's a really good point, actually. Yeah.
And then over time, as people figure out the blue decks, they tend to rise up a little bit. But from day 1, red-white aggro it's currently sitting at 52%. And just for context, the average for 17 lands users is like 54 and a bit, 54.3. It is dreadful. I've drafted it a couple of times, and it's been dreadful. I've had it once. I had a really good version of it once, and it was okay. And I had a medium version once, and it was terrible.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, I believe it.
Yeah, so like the problem is, and like we all know this, we all know that you can't put 6 vehicles in your deck because you just run out of creatures to crew them. And it looked like they'd filled the format with ways to get around that. There are vehicles that crew themselves, or there's the white-red Cloudspire Conductor makes the pilots to crew the vehicles. It just doesn't work. I've just, like, the number of times I've just ended up with 3 vehicles on the battlefield and nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
It's just so bad. And then, like, even if you are doing the thing, that means you're playing your 2-mana 3/1, then playing a vehicle and tapping your 3/1 to make a 1/1 instead of attacking. And it just doesn't quite come together. And then there's the green problem where, yeah, sometimes I've had a really fast start. Like, I'll explode onto the board by turn 3, and then they play a Hazard of the Dunes, and I go, oh, I can't lightning.
You're like, there's a worm in the way now.
I can't lightning strike it. It's difficult to use the 1-mana shock card to kill that. And then it just gets worse after that, right? The green decks will just keep slamming big guys. So the format is just not set up for this to be a real thing. Which is great, honestly. And honestly, it's cool, because I think we all came in expecting this to be, vehicles format, aggro format. And that's not how it's turned out to be. It's turned out to be very late gamey, value oriented, which I think is great and gives us a lot to explore. So I'm very open to this shifting around quite radically the next time we do these, but this is kind of where I've started, as of week, what are we? 2-ish?
Yeah.
So
I like it.
We're gonna keep trying to do these. I won't say it'll be every week, but we'll try and do a couple per format, and we'll just kind of touch in every time we think there's been a shift. And hopefully, as the format goes on, we'll try to get a little bit more granular. Is blue-green? There's blue-green value, but what happens if we add black to it? What happens if we add red to it?
Esper, no, even better. Teamer mounts discard. I'm calling it.
That's it, right? Or we'll find some of the hidden build-arounds and start to go deep on some of those. We've definitely had formats like that where we're just looking for that key uncommon, and then we just go and build a deck around that. So this is where we are right now. Drop us a comment. Let us know what you think of this order. Would you put anything higher, lower? What archetypes have you kind of gone deep on? You feel like you know pretty well that might inform a good decision on this. I would love to hear that.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy Limited. Watch our regular draft videos. We've even got some exciting new kind of videos coming out as well. So, get subscribed, hit the bell, and become a draft punk today.
Well, they actually get to become draft punks? That's exciting.
Like a punk who drafts.
Cool. All right. Here's all the details. Here's how you can get in touch with all of us, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Good evening, Draftaholics. My name is Sam. Nope, that's not how that intro goes. Try again.
I was about to say, and my name is Adrian.
I was just so excited to say my name. Good evening, Draftaholics, and welcome to Draft Punks. I'm Sam.
And I'm Adrian. And welcome to the draft. I just first go, and I couldn't get it.
It's all right. I forgot the intro that we've done 300 times.
It's all right. This is different. This is a different thing.
Yeah.
Oh, go again.